All right, what is going on, guys? This is Coach Mounir, and in this video, I'm gonna show you the most important warm-up that you could ever do. It's the most time-efficient warm-up. It's gonna take you less than 10 minutes, and it's gonna warm you up just as well as any of the other stretching stuff that you've seen from me. Now, obviously, if you're brand new to this, or if you have any injuries, let me know, message me, and I'll send you my other videos on how to warm up properly with the foam rolling, the stretching, the activation, all that stuff. So let me know, comment, find those videos, message me, whatever you gotta do to get your hands on those videos so you can learn that stuff. But once your body's pretty functional and you just need to correct whatever posture issues that you have from sitting, you can do this one instead. And this is what I typically do, although lately I've been sitting a lot more, so I do a little bit of foam rolling when I have time. But if you're really short on time and you already have good posture and you just need to correct it after sitting all day, this is the most ideal scenario. So there are 6 different exercises inside of the isoviscous warm-up, and each of them is challenging. In this video, I'm gonna show you a forward angle and a side angle so that you can kind of see how to do them from each angle. So the first one is the overhead squat. Now, one last thing I want to mention is each of these you're going to hold for 1 minute, except for the one-legged squat, which you'll hold for 45 seconds. And essentially the whole purpose with these is they activate kind of the primal positions that the body needs to be in while lifting to maintain safe and proper posture to activate every muscle, execute every movement without causing any pain. And just to review real quick, the 6 different human movements, which are similar to what we're going to be doing right now, are number 1, the squat motion, number 2, the deadlift motion, number 3, the horizontal press, number 4, the horizontal pull, number 5, the vertical press, number 6, the horizontal press. If we can do all of these movements plus a handful of other movements that these warm-ups are going to help us prepare for, we're going to be able to develop every muscle in our body safely and effectively. The more muscle we gain, the more fat we're able to lose, etc. It's just a host of multiple benefits, which I cover in all my other content. Anyways, so here's the actual exercises right here. You're gonna hold each of these for a minute, and when you do the minute, I want you to count slow: 1 alligator, 2 alligator, 3 alligator, or Mississippi, whatever word you need to say that splits up your sentence or your seconds and makes them full seconds instead of rushing through this. So the overhead squat, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a broomstick or a band and you're gonna hold it straight overhead, okay? I want you to think like you're pressing your shoulders away from your hips. From there, what you're gonna do is you're gonna use your hips to pull yourself back and down. Okay, you're gonna use your glutes to drive your knees out to the sides, rotate your quads away from each other. I'll show you in the side angle. We wanna keep this overhead, and we're gonna try to sit back as far as we can without shifting our feet, without letting our knees come in, without letting our back fall, which you'll see from the side. We're gonna hold this for 1 minute. Now, while you're here, I want you to focus on driving this up and back, keeping your core tight and braced like you're about to get punched in the stomach. Keep your knees out to the side so your glutes are engaged, using your hips to stabilize and pull yourself lower and lower, and using your hamstrings to pull your knees slightly forward, but keeping your weight on your heels, okay? So you're gonna hold that for 1 minute. Let me show you from the side real quick so you guys get an idea. And just from that, my heart rate is up, my body temperature's up, and I'm already feeling my hips and my shoulders loosening up and getting a lot more loose, okay? So from the side, what that looks like is, again, same thing. Start here, press it up and overhead as far from your hips as you can. From there, use your hips and your glutes to pull yourself back and down. As you can see, I'm keeping this overhead. I'm not letting my chest fall. I'm not letting my feet rotate out. I'm keeping my feet relatively straight. I'll show you what not to do in a sec. Core tight, chest up, and drive your knees out to the sides, activating your glutes, okay? So you see how this is right over the center of my feet. My whole body's in alignment from head to toe and from my hands over my head. It's all in a straight line. That's alignment, and if you have trouble with this, use the foam rolling exercise to correct it. So a lot of people are tight in their hips, which prevents them from getting low. So you need the adductor stretch, and the other stretches are gonna help you get lower. This is what I do with all my clients. When I see they have a deficit when they're doing this, we make sure that we roll that stuff out, okay? The next component to this is what we don't wanna do is we don't wanna let our feet be pointed out like this. It puts a lot of pressure on the inner knee. We want our feet to be relatively straight. We also don't want them to be in like this. We want like very slightly pointed out, okay? And obviously for one of my clients, send me a technique review of this so I can make sure that you're doing it properly, okay? All right, so next up, what we're gonna do is now that we've done that, we've held it for 1 minute. Next up, we're gonna do the plank, okay? So for the plank, you don't have to grab an exercise mat for this, but typically I like to use an exercise mat just because who knows what's on the floor of these gyms nowadays, okay? So essentially what we're gonna do, I'll show you guys from multiple angles, is we're gonna get right here and we're gonna hold a plank. Now, we're gonna be doing a straight arm plank, and I'll show you exactly what we're gonna be doing here and a couple different cues I want you to follow. So the first one is get your middle fingers as straight as possible, okay? Middle fingers super straight, lock in. From there, you're gonna put your shoulders right over your hands, and you're gonna rotate your elbow pit. So look at my elbows, we're rotating the elbow pit, rotating like this to activate our lats, shoulders back and down. Now from there, you're gonna tighten your core, draw your belly button in, squeeze your glutes, your quads, and you're gonna hold this nice and tight position for 60 seconds. Keep your head in line with your body. I don't wanna see any of this, I don't wanna see any of this. I wanna see Head nice and straight, core tight, lats tight. It's gonna be the hardest plank you ever do. Show you guys from the front real quick. Middle finger straight, elbow pits rotated like this to activate your lats. Core tight, glutes flexed. You're gonna hold this for 1 minute, okay? Now take a break, grab water if you need to. Technically, this whole thing takes about 6.5 minutes, but if you include the break, it's gonna take 10 minutes, so when you're budgeting your time, that's how you wanna budget your time, okay? The next one's gonna be the one-legged squat. Now this one is arguably the most painful from the series. So if you're already feeling it from the overhead squat, good luck, because this one's gonna be a lot of fun. So you're gonna take a relatively wide stance. I'll show you from the side in a second. And essentially, what we wanna do, and you can tell my heart rate's going up just from demonstrating this, so this is definitely gonna warm you up. We wanna put our hands on our hip bones, okay? The reason we put our hands on our hip bones is to make sure we're not going like uneven, okay? Because if we go uneven, then we're actually gonna mess up our posture a bit. So you wanna have about a shoulder width stance, nice and long, and from there, hands on the hips, you're gonna go down to your knees about 1 inch from the ground. Notice how I keep my hips even. I've had to train myself in this because I used to be like all uneven. Now I can't even go uneven because I've trained myself pretty well for this. You're gonna flex that back glute, flex that front glute, flex this, and you're gonna raise your hands overhead, shoulders back and down, driving it up and away. So you should feel your upper back activating. You're gonna hold that for a good 60 seconds. Sorry, not 60 seconds, 45 seconds for this one, and then you're gonna do your other side. So I'll show you guys from the side profile real quick so you guys get an idea. Hands on the hips. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go down until your foot's about 1 inch, or your knees 1 inch from the ground. Both glutes turned on and tight. Draw your belly button in, keep your core tight. Forgot to say on the last one, so make sure your core is tight, belly button is drawn in. Draw your hands up and overhead. Now, make sure that your arms are straight. I see a lot of people, when they're doing this, their arms are like bent. Straighten them out, drive them up, knuckles behind your head. That's how we warm up the shoulder. And make sure you're not resting your knee on the ground like I am right now while I'm talking, okay? Because that's gonna take away from the hip stretch. Draw your belly button in. You should feel a really big stretch right here in your hip. You're gonna feel your glutes activating. You're gonna feel your upper back activating. This is why we call it the isopositions warm up. By holding this for 45 slow seconds, you're gonna get insane activation. Your squat's gonna feel so much better, super time efficient, gets your heart rate up already, okay? Now, the next exercise we're gonna do is called the A-frame plank. And if you're familiar with yoga, this is sometimes referred to as a downwards facing dog. Hence we have a yoga mat to set the mood. So what we're gonna do is the A-frame plank. Now a couple things I wanna see on this. Again, middle fingers as straight as possible. Lock that in. From there, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your feet kind of wider and you're gonna drive your head between your hands, okay? Your head should be between your hands. What that's gonna allow you to do is get a really good shoulder stretch, and you're just gonna get deeper into it. You can straighten your legs, drive deeper into it, whatever you gotta do to get more leverage on yourself, okay? Show you guys from the front what that looks like. Essentially, middle fingers are straight. Try to get get your head between your shoulders to get a nice back stretch. Mistakes I see on this are people like holding it like this. Nope, get your head down and through so you get the full benefits of the shoulder stretch. So you're gonna hold that for 1 minute. Next up, we're gonna do the bridge, okay? So there's a special bridge, and this is great if you don't have workout equipment because you can do this at home and you'll get your lats, which are kind of hard to hit at home, and I have more exercise for that you guys will get to see more of on this channel and in this program, okay? So what you're gonna do next is you're gonna start right here on your back, okay? But don't relax for too long because we're about to get to work. So you're gonna drive your elbows into the ground. Shoulders back, chest up. I don't wanna see any of this. I wanna see shoulders back, chest up. Use your lats. Drive this into the ground. Drive your hips to the sky. Squeeze those glutes. Draw your belly button in. Get your core tight. And then really try to pull the shoulder blades back and down. Squeeze the quads. Pull your legs towards you using your hamstrings like you're doing a hamstring curl. And what you should feel is mostly glutes, a little bit of abs, lots of lats, lots of quads, lots of hamstrings. Your hamstrings will feel like they're gonna cramp. Mine do right now, so make sure you're hydrated. You're gonna hold this for 1 minute, okay? So we're not just doing like a half-ass bridge. No, we're doing a tight bridge. We wanna activate everything that you're gonna need when you're lifting to make sure that you have optimal posture and that you're not gonna risk injury, and that you don't have to think so hard about activating the muscles because we're already activating them hard right now. Okay, you can hear I'm breathing now. This is intense. So the last one is called the Pelican. Now, I forgot to give a shout out at the beginning of this video to my buddy, my good friend, one of my mentors, Johnny Alvino, Hulk Hogan's personal trainer, 27 years of experience in the industry. He's the guy who taught me all this stuff, so I gotta give a shout out to him. Big shout out to Johnny Alvino, he's taught me a lot. And he calls this the forward flexion. I call this the Pelican. It's a little bit of a funny name, and it kind of looks like a pelican. You're gonna see why in a sec, okay? My friends helped me come up with this name. So we're gonna stand up, and we're gonna start by getting a hamstring stretch, okay? So I'll show you guys from the side first, and I'll show you from the front. So the hamstring stretch, what you're gonna do, you're gonna drive your butt back, which is called the hip hinge, but keep your chest up, back straight. So notice how I'm not doing that, keeping my back straight, chest up, and you're trying to point your belly button as much as you can towards the floor. It's gonna give you a nice stretch in the back of your leg. Don't bend your legs too much, but you can keep them slightly bent. From there, take your middle fingers and drive them out to the sides of the room, okay? So you see why it looks like a pelican. Now, where am I feeling this? I'm feeling my hamstrings, my rear delts, my mid back, and I'm squeezing my abs, keeping my core tight to help activate my core and to keep my back safe, okay? Show you from the front. What this looks like is, again, we're finding that position, chest is up, drive the middle fingers out to the sides of the room. Try to stay as even as you can. Use a mirror if you can to get yourself even. And as we're doing this stretch, we're gonna hold for 60 seconds, just like the rest of them. As we're doing this stretch, to make it more intense, what you can do is try to straighten your knees more. Drive your shins back further. You'll get into the calves a little bit. And that is isoposition warm up. So you can tell I'm breathing a little bit hard right now. I'm perfectly warmed up for my workout. I didn't even hold these for a minute yet. I still got the benefits, but you're gonna hold these for a minute except for the one-legged squat. Remember, for the one-legged squat, hips even, knee 1 inch off the ground, squeeze your glutes, drive it up, belly button in, squeeze the core, get the stretch right there, and your shoulders. That one you're just gonna hold for 45 seconds, all right? Do this before you lift, and it's gonna make a massive difference in everything you do. It's helped me to correct a lot of injuries myself. It's a very short, time-efficient warm-up that you can do when you're pressed for time. It's gonna make a massive difference in your training. So guys, comment down below, let me know what you think. Let me know how they go. Send me a message if you have any questions. And I look forward to hearing how this exercise goes for you and seeing your results from this program, from this exercise. Let's get it. I'll see you guys in the next video.